Morning, guys. Welcome to Chapter 6. This week, we're going to be getting into recruitment. It is Sunday morning, about 10:30. I know I'm working on a Sunday. It's a sin, but I was in Connecticut last week teaching with for the FBI. It's a new consulting position I was offered, so I was in Connecticut. I'd never been to Connecticut, thinking it was going to be real nice and beautiful, and the Texas rain followed me up there with highs of 45. So my impression was that it was very wet and cold until, of course, the last day. And then what happens? Rain moves out, high 56, 57, beautiful weather. And of course, I'm flying out that day. So hopefully, sometime I'll get back up there and, you know, spend some more quality time up there. But I got a chance to meet a bunch of great guys from New York City Police Department, Boston, and then several agencies in Connecticut. So it was nice to get out of Texas for a while. So I'm not used to traveling and being on Eastern time, but it is what it is. You got to go where they send you. All right. So I got a couple of emails. I've been responding back to you guys pretty quick while I was on the road. We're going to be doing Chapter 6 this week. And as recruitment, I'm just getting my notes here squared away. We are going to be talking about recruitment. Most companies right now are fighting for quality applicants. They're fighting to keep and attract those that are pretty well educated or very well educated, depending on the job. They're looking for people that are going to be able to work well in teams. Those are going to be flexible and fluid in job assignments, not rigid, and this is your job for the next 20 years. And they're looking for more loose working environments. That's kind of the trend right now, where you're not having an 8 to 5 mentality. You're not, working that 70s, 80s mentality of IBM or Apple, or being a stockbroker where you come in every day in a suit and tie and you go to lunch. They tell you when to go to lunch and they tell you when you got to do this and that. Most of the employees we're seeing right now, or those applicants, are not of that mindset. And most businesses are getting to the point now where they realize that and understand it. So when you think of recruitment, I want you to think of recruitment as kind of a form of business. All right, it's a contest. It's fiercely competitive. Just as corporations use strategy to develop, manufacture, and market their product, they must also compete to attract and hire the most qualified people. Companies face different recruitment challenges based on the size and industry. Every day, industries are coming and going. Some are succeeding, some are failing, and we're constantly having to play catch up in terms of the next product, or having a better company come along next to your competitor and steal your talent away. It's not just happening in businesses, but also in the public sector. You've got cities that are advertising, like on Texas Municipal League or TML, trying to attract other companies, trying to attract other, I guess, high quality, experienced applicants to come over there for better benefits, better hours, more money, of course, is an enticement. Or some people are just kind of burned out and they realize, this is as far as I'm going to get with this company or this organization. And if you're not keeping them busy and keeping them challenged, then they're out the door. They're going to give you your 2 weeks notice and move on. Now, what we're looking for is a supply chain approach to recruitment and staffing process. All right, potential labor force develops into an available labor force. Some of those individuals will actually apply for the job and become applicants. Recruiters will then filter the applicant pool to identify candidates from a smaller pool. We go from like kind of a cattle call to the most qualified, and then we start interviewing. Screening and selection identify smaller pools of candidates who receive offers, and then of course they get in on a conditional basis or probation basis. I would imagine many of you guys are either directly involved or indirectly involved in some type of hiring process. And I'd be willing to bet for the more senior of us here that have been in the job 14, 15 years, that the recruitment challenges have changed, and the way we go about recruiting, instead of college fairs or job fairs, we're now doing more stuff online. We're doing more social media, trying to branch out to a broader pool of applicants. Now, the internal versus the external labor markets. The internal labor market's comprised of basically three elements, all right? Formal and informal practices that determine how jobs are going to be organized within the organization, methods for choosing among candidates, and procedures through which potential candidates are generated. Now, the recruitment policies and labor market characteristics basically consist of employers that have frequently changed their policies in response to market conditions in the following ways, all right? They're looking at improving the characteristics of vacant positions. Instead of having someone just leave and fill it with the next warm body, they want to see, why did they leave? How can we make it better? How can we keep somebody in there? Salaries or increasing training and educational benefits. Some companies are now basically getting in line with paying for advanced degrees, masters, PhDs, law degrees, and other master's certifications instead of the employee traditionally paying out of their own pocket. Most people now are swapping benefits for better for pay. They want to have longevity. They want to retire with benefits. They might have health conditions and all that. Reducing hiring standards, not so much the quality, but reducing the standards to a point where we can open things up. It might be not being so stringent on past drug usage or having a degree, or we hire you with the promise to get a degree within 2 or 3 years after being hired. Being able to relocate might be an issue. Using more and more expensive recruiting methods, again, social media, job fairs, flying people into the company across the country, sometimes across the world might be what we're looking at. Extending searches over a wide geographical area. Instead of going local and around the state, we might be going across the nation or going global, depending on what we're looking to do and if you have satellite offices. An integrated method of a recruitment process is something they talk about in the chapter. And they talk about 3 contextual environmental features that affect all recruitment efforts. Number 1 is the characteristics of the firm. What are we looking at in terms of the value of brand and its personality? Does the potential applicant have the qualities intrinsically to stick around and help basically become part of the organization and give it 100%? That's what we're looking for. The characteristics of the vacancy itself. Is it mission critical that we fill this position or this vacancy today or tomorrow? Can it wait? Can we refine it? Can we make it better? The characteristics of the labor markets in which the organization recruits, supply and demand conditions. All right, these are all things you as a supervisor, a CEO, or an administrator should be thinking about. It's about how quickly do we need to fill the spot? Why is it empty in the first place? And the person who had it before, did they maximize the potential in this position? And how mission critical is it that we do this today? Is it something we can wait on a few weeks, reevaluate, or see if there's a way maybe to merge it or redefine the job duties? Now, recruitment starts with a specific number of people needed and when they are needed, okay? Just like when we're looking for people, how many do we need, when do we need them, and what exactly are they going to do? You're going to be strategic, like we've talked about in the last couple weeks, and laying out a strategy in which you need to hire people. There might be intensive training. There might be certifications they have to have. There might be a certain age they have to hit, and if they don't hit the age, they're no good to you. They just kind of wait around until they are like 21 or whatever, say they're going to go in law enforcement. One Fortune 500 firm study found that an average firm cut about 6 days off of its hiring cycle by posting jobs online instead of in newspapers, another 4 days by tackling online applications, and more than a week by screening applications electronically. So a lot of these places are saying, look, it's quicker to do this stuff online. We have a web page. Let's put hiring announcements on there. Let's join these social media pockets where they're basically looking for job recruiters and put the position out there. So with internal recruitment, switching gears here for just a minute, there are 5 important things about internal recruitment that all organizations need to address. All right. Number 1, how does the organization create a talent pool? All right. For example, how does it prepare technical professionals for future management positions? Are they qualified? How do we specifically say this is the minimum type of technical expertise we need for you to even be considered to be interviewed? How does the organization attract candidates for promotion? Do the most suitable technical professionals want to advance to management, or do they prefer to pursue technical work? Not everyone coming in is going to be a manager. All right. I have seen officers in my career that, in my opinion, would make fantastic police sergeants, police lieutenants, but they have no desire to ascend that level. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want to change their shift. They don't want to change their jobs. They don't want to have to work more and have to worry about going to midnights or evening shift with really weird days off and all that other stuff. Some people might be set, and there are those that just love their job. They love doing the technical aspects. I've had guys that have been 20-year police officers who could have been a chief, in my opinion, but they loved being on the street. They loved working with the people. They had no aspirations to go back and supervise and do evaluations and discipline and all that. They are just hard chargers, and there's nothing wrong with that. And those people are just as critical as finding your untapped potential for those who want to ascend to a supervisor or manager or whatever. You've got to keep both parties happy. How does the system choose candidates? In your organizations, are promotion candidates chosen as a reward for good technical performance or for their leadership abilities? How are you rating these people, and how are you pushing them into manager roles? How does the organization make offers to land candidates? How successful is the organization in convincing technical professionals to move into leadership positions? Do you have like a mentoring program? Are you grooming people to do the job and to build that job? How does the organization bring new employees on board? How much support and training and technical professionals are given after they assume their new positions? Do we hire them, give them a week of training and say good luck? Or do we spend a couple weeks training them or grooming them or doing it every quarter, giving them some experience and bringing them back in and refining those skills? Are you putting them with like a field trainer or some kind of mentor for a year or so before you're satisfied and feel confident they can handle the job independently? Many companies struggle with the reluctance of managers to grant permission for their subordinates to be interviewed for transfer or promotion. This can be compensated for with strong management support. There are some managers that don't want to lose their people. All right, they flat out feel like, hey, I've got a good team here. They're happy. I don't want to lose anyone because, more importantly, I don't want someone I've trained to be working above me or have a lateral move where I lose them and the quality of my work goes down or I have to go back and retrain somebody. So there's a lot of, I don't want to use the word selfish, but self-serving agendas, I think, in organizations that keep people from promoting. Now, when we're going to post a job, and of course, I think every week, like the cities post jobs, I get an email from the city in Longview or University of Texas at Tyler or Kilgore College or something like that, and there's like an internal job posting, all right? Posting jobs internally begin as compliance measures for affirmative action. Today, job posting is an established practice in most organizations and help not only with affirmative actions, but employee morale. Some people may be looking for a new position. They may want to look into something or know there's other things out there. Openings are typically distributed on the internet, social medias, job boards, newsletters, however an organization contacts the people. If no limits are placed on job posting systems, they can cause considerable administrative and productivity expense. Typically, firms will require that employees cannot bid on a new job until 1 year after their hire. And they must have accrued 6 months of tenure in their current job before being eligible to bid on new ones. And that just goes with any job. You don't want someone who's been here a week to put in for a new position or one that has more responsibility when they haven't mastered the basics of their own job. In my job at law enforcement, typically we require 2 years on the streets, on patrol, out of probation, and then a recommendation from your supervisor to put in for positions, say as a detective, SWAT team, hostage negotiator, PAR officer, school resource officer, or something like that. We want to see that you've got a proven track record, and typically 2 or maybe sometimes 3 years, even to promote to sergeant or something, or the first line supervisor. Now, employee referrals. They refer an employee candidate by current employee as a major source of new hires. There are jobs and times when there are so many openings, they may give current employees some kind of monetary incentive to bring candidates in, and if the candidate passes the training and the hiring and all that, or the hiring and the training, they may get like $500 or $1,000 is what we call a referral fee, or they may get time off or something like that. Typically, programs, like I said, award cash bonuses or something that the employees like. Advantages include being able to tap into employees' network of professional contacts as well as passive job seekers. Some firms have created alumni networks to find and rehire former employees. One potential disadvantage is that the employee referrals perpetuate the demographics, perspectives, and belief systems of the current workforce. Going back to a point we just made earlier, it's not uncommon to have someone retire and come in as a consultant or someone part-time because they still want to work, they still know the job, and they've got years of experience, so there's no reason to not bring them back in and let them work on stuff, projects, or be part of a team in a part-time capacity. Temporary work pools, that's kind of the flavor right now, but temporary work pools work directly for a hiring agency like Texas Jobs Workforce or Workforce Committee or something like that. Advantages include being able to meet fluctuating labor demands or cover for factors like illness, vacations, terminations, and resignations. They're basically your on-call workforce. You call up, tell them what you need, they send somebody over. Most of the time there'll be a match. It's a part-time basis unless there's room for them to move in full-time. But typically workforces, those pools depend on what the job is and what you're looking for. Now, external recruitment, those are the guys that go out and actively recruit on the road. That's at universities, virtual job fairs, executive search firms, employment agencies, recruiting and advertising. You might have someone that does nothing but recruiting and advertising for an agency. And you're constantly looking to see what talent's out there abroad, what you're looking to do things in terms of bringing people in. It doesn't have to always be internal. Most times around the fall or in the spring, right before graduation, you'll see these job fairs and these convention centers or these grand halls or banquet halls in universities or in cities. I know Tyler does it. I know Longview does it, where we'll just have a couple hundred job recruiters come out, set up a booth, and start recruiting people. And people go around picking up flyers and doing on-the-spot interviews to see if they might be a match, and they get a few cards and turn in a resume, and they get a job callback eventually. Now, employers should use women and members and underrepresented groups on the road in their HR offices as interviewers and on recruiting trips. You want to mix it up a little bit. You don't want the same guys that have been recruiting for 20 years going out and representing your department. And I've been guilty of that. I've seen our guys go out and, they're senior guys, but you want a young face who's going to attract young people. It's that simple. You want your representative to match the demographics you're trying to tap into. If you're going to a college town or a college university, you're going to want to send some of your younger officers that are more excited, more eager, may have graduated from that university, so there's a line in there with that. Now, the other side of recruitment, the job search, you have the unemployed and then the employed but searching for a new job. What is the motivation of these guys coming in to look for a job? Are they desperately seeking a job for a paycheck, or is it someone that's in the same field but they want to make a jump to a different company, they want different duties, and they're not getting it from the same company that they're working in now? So a lot of things you have to tailor your recruitment board for, new employees or those with previous experience, and we've all seen those, and then have some kind of plan to basically interview. You may even fast track somebody, meaning that you'll expedite their training when you're going through the hiring process. Someone who comes in, say, from another city with Parks and Rec or HR or building inspector or police officer or fireman, they just have to learn that city or your city's way of doing things. Getting into recruitment planning and internal recruitment, we've talked about the job posting. Really, there's not a whole lot of science to recruiting. It's just basically seeing what the other guy's doing what they're doing, and doing it better and doing it faster. Like virtual career fairs, for example. Virtual job fairs use video, voice, and text to connect job seekers with recruiters and to span time zones and continents in the process. At a virtual career fair, online visitors can listen to presentations, visit booths, leave resumes and business cards, participate in live chats, or get information from the recruiter in real time. HR managers and even hiring managers have been known to get online or show up and start doing things electronically and faster. A third party, a college, publication, or an association that brings together companies runs most of the job fairs. Like I said, those convention halls, like in Tyler would be the Rose Hall, Longview, Mod Cobb, Henderson's got a civic center, Kilgore's got a civic center, Nacogdoches, A&M, stuff like that. Now, executive search firms retain typically to recruit senior level positions that command salaries of about $150,000 or less. Those guys are the big bucks, but the employers who are evaluating a search firm should carefully consider the following indications that firms can do competent work. The firm has defined its market position by industries rather than all disciplines or jack of all trades, meaning that these guys are specifically doing accounting, CEOs of manufacturing, oil and gas, finding city managers or assistant city managers, and that's what they do and only what they do. The firm understands how your organization functions within the industries it's served. They have people who've come up in that organization that used to do the job you're looking to fill, or used to be you or your boss in your company before they retire. The firm is performance oriented and compensate the search salesperson substantially on the basis of assignment and completion. The firm combines the research and recruiting responsibilities into one function. The firm is organized to function as a task force and in the search of candidates, particularly where they are being recruited in multiple assignments or when the placement speed is essential. The firm is a member of the Association of Executive Search Consultants, that's AESC, and subscribes to the AESC's practice standards of code of ethics, meaning they're a bona fide search firm. They have a code of ethics, they've got a board, and they have the seal of approval that they're legitimate. The firm provides the clients a full understanding of the services to be provided and the method of operation, any limitations that might affect the search, who is handling the assignment, and the totality of fees, expenses, and other expectations. Meaning that when you give them your fee and check, you're done. There's a contract. They know exactly how much you're going to pay for this service. They know exactly how much they're going to bring in, and what you're looking for, and there's no surprises at the end. We talked about employment agencies. They basically find people to fill all kinds of jobs. That can be administrative assistants, labor. It can be temporary first line supervision. Of course, the EEOC plays a part in that. The EEOC is quite clear that there's no defense if a temporary staffing agency participates in discriminatory staffing requests from the client company. To achieve best results from this channel, you want to cultivate a small number of firms and thoroughly describe the characteristics, the education, training, experience of candidates needed, the fee structure, and the method of resolving disputes before they become a problem. Let's see here, make sure I covered everything. Of course, we've talked about diversity. We looked, you want people that, if you're looking for a specific diversity, age, ethnic, gender, you want to send recruits out that match that, and people who can be honest and answer questions when you're looking for that type of pool of applicants. Now, when you're talking about managing recruit operations, administratively, recruitment is one of the easiest activities to screw up or foul up, with potentially long-term negative publicity for the firm. Traditionally, recruitment is intensively paper-based. Today, however, the entire process has been re-engineered, so that's computer-based. Here, you have a couple of examples. When you look at hiring with Gateway from Yahoo, they have what they call Resumix. Automation is replacing manual HR processes. Knowledge-based software is being bought by companies and public services where you do all your applications online, you send it into HR, they look at a criteria. If it's met, it gets pushed onto that department and you have to follow up with them, or they follow up with you. What we're looking for in terms of the evaluation of past and current recruitment operations is simple. What you want to do basically is improve the efficiency of future recruitment efforts, all right? Like I said earlier, you find out what your competitor's doing and you do it better. You save money, you figure out how much it's going to cost to run it, you want to look at resumes, you want to look at acceptance and offer ratios that you can afford to live with, but more importantly, attract that high quality. The analysis of post-visit and rejection questionnaires, most companies don't. If you take a job and you decide, hey, it's not for me, they move on to the next guy, but these companies are getting smarter now saying, why did you not take our job? What was it? Was it the fee? Was it the salary, the benefits, the location? Was there a bad vibe you got when we brought you into the office to take a look around? They're starting to send out these rejection questionnaires. The salary offered, is it comparable to what the person's looking for? Is it realistic what they're asking? So those are just some of the main points that we look about when we're talking about basically setting up an evaluation and control of recruitment. The other side of recruitment, again, the job search. There are so many people out there at our age, 30s and 40s, that are looking to get into management or looking for a new career to switch over, or you have some people who've been laid off. And, there's some things that, people just apply for things that they really don't want, they're not qualified for, but they want a paycheck. You got to watch out for those guys, flat out. I mean, that's just how it is. Then you've got some that have been out of the workforce for so long that they want to get back in the game, but they may not have the skills, but they've got the desire and the drive, and they just need some effective mentoring that might help them get up and be a top-notch employee. Again, you need to watch out for that also. So it's going to kind of be a balance of, each candidate, and I would argue, just personal from experience, is you take it on a case-by-case basis. You don't just have a one-size-fits-all mentality. Let's see here. That's pretty much it for recruitment, guys. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there I'll have you guys take a look at. In the discussion question, if you guys have recruitment experience, from an HR point of view, put it in there. Let me know. Let me know what's worked for you guys, what you guys are doing differently, what's backfired on you, what's actually thought was a good idea, it backfired, and it might have hurt the organization in an unintended way. And the thing is, we want to learn from mistakes. That's the whole point of this. So on that, I'm going to wrap up with recruitment. I'm going to get your quiz posted. And yes, you will be able to see all your quizzes after the quiz closes at midnight each week. I'm going to go back and make sure the settings are up on that. And the discussion board. You guys are doing great on it. Some of you guys are just going well above and beyond on the depth. I'm just impressed with this class and this cohort completely. So I will talk to you guys later in the week. You guys have a good one, and I will see you soon. Have a good week.